Hello, welcome to the third Waltham Forest Cello Fest. Today we are going to start with Cello Weekend, and we will present you Belgian cellist and composer Stijn Kuppens. And we already started this morning with individual cello master classes. Stijn performed for us his first part with cello webinar number 1. He will continue tomorrow with the webinar, cello webinar number 2. And now, after this Stijn Kuppens cello recital, there will be a space for questions and answers. So please feel free to put your comments in a chat description below or next to it. And now I will continue give word to May Pearsons, and she is diplomatic representative of Flanders. They supported this performance, and she will introduce fantastic cellist and composer Stijn Kuppens now.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear music lovers, it is a great pleasure to introduce to you Stijn Kuppens and his colleagues who will perform for you this afternoon. And to do so, I kindly invite you to the concert hall of the Koninklijk Conservatorium in Brussels, situated in the capital of Belgium and Flanders. Culture is a devolved matter in Belgium. A Flemish minister is responsible for culture both in Flanders and around the world. The diplomatic representation of Flanders in the UK, my office, represents the government of Flanders abroad. And this is what brings me here with you today at this third edition of the Waltham Forest Cello Fest. The importance that Flanders attaches to music is as old as the region itself. In historical retrospect, it is remarkable how over the years, knowing and practicing music has gained as prominent a place in Flemish society as listening to it. How this came about is a far-reaching question. It may well be related to geographical conditions. Flanders is flat and centrally located, with a fairly mild climate. People live close together and enjoy the good life. Excellent reasons for a thriving social life. The long tradition of gathering together and thus making music continues to leave its traces in what is, however you look at it, a remarkable preoccupation with music that still exists in Flanders today. But I should come back to the photo of the concert hall. In this hall, Stijn Kuppens recorded his CD Inner Cello, of which we will hear a compilation today. Stijn's path to where he is today is quite unique. He started his professional life as a musician, performing opera and chamber music, focusing most of his time on classical music. He is, however, a true musical entrepreneur. He teaches the cello, such as he did in the masterclass this afternoon. He strongly focuses on the necessary techniques for a musician to play excellent cello music. In his view, cello playing starts with having the right material, knowing how to sit, and knowing how to handle your instrument. Today he complements these technical aspects of being an artist and finds his inspiration outside the classical music sphere. He dedicates most of his time to creating and playing his own music. His music is shaped organically and consists of different layers that please both the experienced as well as the beginner's ear. Inner Cello is his first CD, and the good news is that this June we can expect a release of a second CD. Today, Stijn will perform a compilation of his CD Inner Cello. It is accompanied by a diorama that invites you on a journey in your own inner world. In a second part, he creates new versions of his own work in playing first with violinist Hugh Desmond and then with percussionist Brecht Claesen. If after today you are interested in more Flemish masters, old and contemporary, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me or my colleagues at the diplomatic representation. We'd be glad of help in your quest and search for more talent from Flanders. But enough said, it is time now to let the music talk. Enjoy and thank you.
Hello, I am Stijn Kuppens, cellist, composer, producer from Belgium. I'm very happy to be part of the third Waltham Forest Cello Fest 2021, online edition. Mr. František Brixius invited me to prepare for you a recital. The recital consists of two parts, and the first part is a short version of my long composition for cello solo entitled Inner Cello. I made a clip, and the exclusive premiere of this clip will be in this third Waltham Forest Cello Fest 2021. The second part of the recital is a series of clips in which my music for cello solo is dialoguing with another instrument, and this results in a new composition. As I said, I'm very happy to be part of this festival, and I hope you enjoy my music.
Hello, Stijn. Thank you. That was fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you, František.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your performance. You know, the beginning it was like really strong solo cello, and then in the combination with violin and percussion, it was just like fantastic. And I love the visual input as well. You know, when you started, you know, the first, you know, in the background, you know, the live screening, and then in, you know, the static, you know, panorama thing with the lights changing. It was fantastic. Stijn, I wanted to ask you mainly. I would like to talk about two main things, and about your performance today as Stijn as a composer, and then second thing I would like to discuss with you is Stijn as a cellist, a cello teacher. So I mean about your two webinars. We already in the first part before this your recital, and the second part will be streamed tomorrow at the same time. And so first of all, could you just tell me about all those pieces you just performed?
Yes. First of all, František, thank you so much for having me in your festival. Thanks.
Yeah, happy to have you here. Thanks for, you know, accepting our invitation. Thank you.
My pleasure. And thanks for the viewers at home or wherever you're watching. I know that there are some people watching from Brazil, from Holland, from Amsterdam. There are some people that I know that are watching, and I want to thank you for taking your time now to watch. As František said, you saw, in fact, the performance that was in two parts, and I just want to attract your attention on the fact that the images that you saw in the background in the first part, in the solo pieces, they were taken from the background that you saw in the second part. So they were really the images from the dioramas made with a macro camera, and so there was a very strong connection between the two. Two visual styles.
That's what I loved. Yeah, you know, it's just you know the moving image, and then you know the static image versus the same. But yeah, that's fantastic.
It's almost unbelievable that's the same, because you saw a small world, and then suddenly you see the same small world, miniature world, becoming like huge, like in real life magnitude. In fact, it is very related to how I see my music, which I describe as taking the listener on a journey through times and cultures. And I hope when you were listening to the music that you had this kind of experience, that you were listening, and at a certain moment you were transported to your own fantasy. That is a bit my aim as a composer, that I want to make you enjoy your own fantasy, taking you along in my music, but in your own story.
Yes, achieved, Stijn. Well done, thank you.
Well, and so in the second part, with the dialogues, it's just interesting to say that the dialogues that you heard, the two with violin and the one with percussion, they are based on solo pieces as well. But the funny thing is that by adding this extra instrument, which is not just adding an instrument, but which is sort of completing a story in a different way that becomes a new story, that experience for me is always very nice. I play my pieces alone, but I also play them in duo, and both of them are, for me, as, how can I say, as strong or as special. And every time I perform them, it's such a joy. In fact, I feel very happy that I chose this path and that I can bring you my music.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Stijn, could you just tell me a little bit more about your album, Inner Cello? It's you know available on internet, on Spotify, on you know all those platforms. So could you just tell us something about it? Oh, it's over there. Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in this world, not everything is virtual. There exists real CDs.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. So Inner Cello is available as a CD, but of course it's also available as in all the streaming and download platforms.
Fantastic. So we will put later, you know, the links below the video, so you can, you know, click on it and get it, you know, to order both as CD or you know the MP3 or you know the virtuoso. But I prefer, I think the CD would be, you know, fantastic. What I had and what
if I just can give one advice, so this Inner Cello album, it has 10 tracks. The first 9 tracks, they are what I call inner cello. And Inner Cello is in fact became in fact for me one piece. Those 9 tracks became one piece at a certain moment during the composition process, and I had a very strong experience when I performed this. I performed it a lot of times, also for me at home, of course. And it's a 45 minutes experience that I really would like, if possible, to recommend to the listener to have it, to undergo it, to listen to it in one go. It seems a bit challenging to listen to 45 minutes of cello solo music that is made today, but just try it. It is.
I think we can do it. 45 minutes is that's fantastic. So we can do even more. Yeah, we will be just what I heard. I would love to hear a little bit more. Yeah. So Stijn, what are your next plans? What's your next cello project?
Well, at this moment, in fact, it's a very important moment for me. First of all, I'm finishing, in fact, the editing of my second solo album, which is entitled Cello Souls. This is again, this is 50 minutes of cello solo music, and the concept is very similar to Inner Cello. It's again a series of pieces that form together a whole of 50 minutes. So that is one of the projects that I'm finishing now. There's a second project that is improvisations with cello and piano that I did with a film composer, and it's gonna be, and this I'm revealing now here in the festival.
Wow!
Under the work title First Meetings, which is really actually exactly the truth. It's the first time that we met, in fact, and that we played and that we immediately recorded. And I believe very strongly in this importance of what you say the first time that you meet someone. And I transferred this in music. So my idea is the first time that you dialogue with a person in real life, let's say you travel to the other side of the world, and that first conversation, that first moment that you meet, that has something so special that I wanted to keep this and really put it almost as a recording available afterwards. So we are in the process now of evaluating those recordings and likely bringing out an album.
Yeah.
And so there are several CD projects going on. But
that's fantastic. Yeah.
As you know, one project like this takes a lot of time. So there's the whole process of recording, and then you have the montage, artwork, and so what's happening behind the scenes is always a bit. You don't know. It's.
That sounds fantastic, Stijn. I cannot wait to hear, to listen to your new project, new CD. That's maybe shall we just go a little bit back? Could you just tell me something about the opening piece, Fado, you played,
yes.
And then you played the Montagnes, and there is something called Chaconne, and it's dedicated to a cellist working in the chocolate industry. Is that?
Yes. Exactly.
Chocolate?
Yes.
How? Why?
Well, so where shall I start? With the Chaconne or in the Fado? What do you prefer?
Oh, sorry, Fargo. Yes, Fargo, please.
Let's go chronologically. Yes. So Fado, in fact, is of course referring in a way to the Portuguese music Fado, but in reality, the most direct link is Fa and Do. These are two notes, Fa and Do, and they refer to two names of people that that are very close to me, and I wrote this music for them. And this music is a description of, let's say, a female voice and a male voice that are responding in the music. If you would listen again to the music, you can hear this. And those two notes, those Fa and Do, they have a prominent role, and they come together, they join together in the double stops that you hear in the cello. So there's a whole symbolical thing going on in the music with this Fa and this Do, referring to those two people. And that is, in fact, the background of Fado, which is supposed to be a very accessible music, but there are some deeper levels that you can discover, or that I can also tell you, like I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And the second one?
Yes. So the second one was Montagnes, if I don't mistake. Yes, voilà. And in fact, Montagnes is referring to the Swiss Alps, and it tells a bit. In the beginning, you can imagine somebody standing on top of a mountain and calling. And you hear the echo of that note going away.
Yeah, yeah.
You hear somebody replying.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
And it is in fact describing what I call the worryless life without worries. You listen to this piece, and it sort of describes, let's say, the life in early life, when you don't have too many worries. You're young, and you're meeting somebody maybe to spend the rest of your life with. Everything is still a dream, and the adult life with all the worries is still far away. And this is what happens in this Montagnes.
Yeah.
You hear me singing, if you remember.
Yes, I was just like, I was listening, and then I started hearing, kind of voice, and I was, singing there. That's also really, really good. Yeah. So that's
it's something that is also makes, for me, is a bit symbolically for, don't take everything too serious. Just enjoy life. Just sing when you want to sing, even if you're playing cello in a serious concert. You are allowed to sing and just.
Actually, it's not that easy as it seems, because the if you got a piece for cello and singing, just like and it depends on the voice if it's so that's very interesting. How can you just tell me about the chocolate thing?
I hear
come
that
on,
you're interested in the chocolate. So.
How is?
In fact, what happened is that I'm having to work together with a fantastic cellist that is following lessons with me, and I don't know if he's listening or not, but I had a long history with Julien, is his name. With the cello, we traveled even together to Japan. And at a certain moment, I wanted to make a tribute to him, and I composed this piece that was based on a repeated bass. And as you know, a typical form of the Baroque that is based on a repeated bass is a chaconne. So it's a chaconne that was dedicated to this person, Julien, who is not only a fantastic cellist, but who works in the chocolate industry. And he is Chaconne Theobroma. Is referring to Theobroma, which is the name of the cacao plant that from which we make chocolate. So that's the story.
That's fantastic story. Stijn, could you just sorry, I'm jumping to another thing. Could you just tell me something about you two cello webinars? Who are they for?
Yes.
Is it just for cellists, or is it for people who never heard about cello, or is it just like for beginners? Anything you could share with us?
Well, so the cello webinars, they are a result of what I have been doing for the past 20 years, which is not only playing but also teaching. And as you know, when you play, you teach yourself, you teach others, people that are following lessons with you, they teach you too. It's sort of a very enriching experience. And the more experience you gather, the more deep you go into this subject. And I'm now at a point where I like to share also what are my personal experiences and my conclusions a bit in about cello playing. So I made 3 cello technique books in which I describe on paper, let's say, what I would how I teach cello technique. And I was planning to make cello webinars to explain, in fact, the things that I already wrote down. But in reality, I started this series of webinars from the absolute start, the beginning. How do you approach when you never played cello? How do you begin with it? And so, in fact, it is really going back to basics from I never played the cello. How do I take an instrument? Where do I find an instrument? How do I take care of the instrument? How do I sit? How do I take the bow? And all those things that are the first things that you need to know, and that basically are extremely important, because if you learn to play cello and you're not sitting in the right way, you have a big problem, and you can discover this later on. But it's better to start cello and already know more about it, how to sit, what is your position.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, and this counts for everybody also, it's never bad to go back and to make the process again and again and say, like, okay, I'm playing now for 5 years, but how am I sitting? Am I still sitting right? Is this really, how do I feel? Is there something in the way that I approach the instrument that can influence my playing? So the webinars seem to be directed to people who never played, who are just absolute beginners, or just play for 1 year or 2 years. But on the other hand, I think that basics are important for everybody and make you think again about the real, let's say, the source of movements. And how do you move the bow? How do you approach taking the bow? Is this something that we only have to learn in the first year? No, we always go back to this. And so I really took my time in those webinars to explain the things in a way that I would explain them to my students. And let's say also the consequence is also that the information sort of spreads in a way that you have the time to absorb it also. So I don't say the things once, but sometimes I say
yeah, that's fantastic, because I when I watch your webinar, it was just exactly what you mentioned. Yeah, it can be for the people who are just about to start cello, or who are thinking to start cello, as well for advanced cellists who are already know a lot, and they can. It's always good to kind of realize very basics, and sitting, holding the bow, posture, and so it was very good. And you mentioned even several things like how to do, how to maintain your cello in your first webinar, how to handle the cello at all. So it's just even very practical for even the beginner students, because sometimes they just don't know, and how to tune a cello. There was just very good question or advice if is it better to buy cello or to rent cello. I'm not going to say it now, but you need to watch Stijn's webinar. But there is very good answer for that. Yeah, actually there are 2 answers for that. And then setup of cello. Sometimes the people don't know how to replace the strings. Yeah, so it was just really kind of useful in less than 1 hour. You can go through a lot of things that usually takes years to kind of collect and to know. So what is it going to be? That the second, tomorrow we will be streaming the second part. What is it going to be mainly in there?
So, the second webinar is going to be with the cello. Let's say the first webinar was almost more about how to approach the cello and come to the playing. In the second webinar, I go more to the playing. But still, again, it's going really, really in the basics of playing a pizzicato with an open string, playing a pizzicato with a string that is pressed. And in fact, I think if you can go on every level, you can go into this matter, because finally, if you play a note of the bow or you play a note pizzicato, that is what we do basically. It can be many notes, and it can be high notes or low notes, but the technique and the feeling and the intention and how you conceive the sound is going to be on every level interesting. If you start or if you're intermediate or advanced, I really believe that it's very, very healthy to go back to basics.
Definitely, I agree. It's always kind of good. It's kind of the basic setup. It's like you're like a pilot or something. You need to check this: sitting straight, feet on the floor, holding the bow, holding the cello. You are, in good posture. You are relaxed, and all of those things there. So so that you can watch both webinars on our YouTube channel. I will just put it in the description. And tomorrow it will be streamed again at 2 o'clock. It's London time, and
3 o'clock European Brussels time.
It will be 3. No, it will be 3 o'clock European time, Paris time. Yeah. So, but anyway, all the information you can find on our websites, on Waltham Forest Cello Fest YouTube channel. You can join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of that. And I just what is your advice what is your advice for the people who never tried to play cello but they want to try it, or they are thinking about it? What would be kind of message for them?
My advice is to don't hesitate and just do it. And that is exactly what I do. When somebody comes to me, the first thing I will say, like, please, let's do it. Let's try a solution for you to do it. Don't hesitate, just do it. And I think it's a very big challenge, but you get back so much. I think there's no reason not to immediately just go for it and go and practice and find it. Well, the only thing is, I think it's a good idea to have a teacher, because to make the process of learning cello alone is maybe a bit complex. So if you could find a teacher, that would be my only advice, to consider to have a teacher.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like you can do something, but it's always good to have the advice of professional cellists or cello teachers who can be. So just do it. Just start playing cello, guys. It'll be fantastic. So I think that's one of the aims of this Waltham Forest Cello Fest. And thank you very much for doing for us the both cello webinars and this fantastic performance today. Thank you. So we will leave it here, and big applause for Stijn. Thanks.